Hey folks, this is Soul with your reminders for this week in Warcraft. These videos come out every week, rain or shine, and you can help support them by hitting the like button and subscribing for more WoW coverage. Let's start with the nerfs and buffs expected to happen this week. Unholy Death Knights are getting buffs to Epidemic and Bursting Swords, whoop-de-doo. Marksman Hunters are getting buffs to their main abilities, with Multi-Shot, Explosive Shot, and Trick Shot getting some moderate increases. Outlaw Rogues are getting a welcome 5% buff to their abilities across the board, even an increase to their auto attack damage. The Warrior Town abilities Ravager and Thunderous Roar are getting an 8% buff, while Fury Warriors spec'd into Whirlwind are getting their own little modest buff too. The following overall nerfs are targeted towards the so-called God Comp that dominated the recent Mythic Plus competition, the Great Push. No doubt this affects the top percent of players trying to push keys as high as they can feasibly go, and many are feeling the walls coming up. It will affect the perception of these classes and specs too, but I just want to at least, try and reassure folks who are trying to run heroic raids or aspect level keys like 16s that these nerfs should be a little bit less noticeable. At any rate, here we go. Augvokers are going to get polished down a little bit more to be in line with other DPS specs. Breath of Eons will lose a third of the damage that affected members would give them, while Faith Mirror now only procs 10% of the time. A few weeks ago, it was 20%. No doubt these sound like horrible, no good things, and it's got people anxious about the state of augmentation, or even the idea of a support class once Season 3 of Dragonflight rolls around. Of course, Season 3 is still a few months away. I'm still very curious to see what sorts of wild and degenerate behavior we'll see from top raid teams in the next Race to World First. Guardian Druids are getting picked on again with nerfs to Thrash and Raze. The other week, Ursox Fury's damage bubble had a slight nerf, and well, this is not gonna help. Meanwhile, mages are in shambles with their nerfs to their AoE. Fire had their main AoE abilities knocked down by 10%, while Frost had nerfs in the 6 to 8% ranges. Holy Paladins aren't doing much better either. Their versatility and utility in keys has made them potent contributors, and this is being pulled back. Their overall healing is being nerfed by a flat 5%. The absorbs from Glimmer and Fading Light also nerfed. Consecration damage and its bonus proc chances are getting a hit, and even Blessing of Summer, their own sort of power infusion, is having a third of its damage bonus taken away. Meanwhile, Ret got some AoE buffs. Yeah! Rounding things out, Shadow Priests are getting some pretty heavy nerfs to their damage over time. Holy is getting a cute buff to the talent that's meant to make Holy Nova a viable, although occasional, boost to damage and heals. And Discipline is getting a very modest buff to Atonement healing, with a statement that the devs are taking a look at the spec in an upcoming patch. It's never great to see nerfs like this happening for everyone when the basis behind it is this white-knuckle experience that the elite few participate in. Not to say that it shouldn't happen, left alone, top players would be, extremely angry, and this would have influence on class and spec representation at every skill level, not just the top end, but, for now that's where we're at. The Darkmoon Fair is in town to help you max out your profession skills and offer a modest boost to rep and experience gains. Thankfully, also this week is the World Quest bonus event for all you rep farmers and profession alts looking to access recipes. Completing just a handful of World Quests gives huge bonuses, and if you've maxed out reps, you can pass rep tokens to alts who can use the Darkmoon buff for additional gains. Packed House is the PvP brawl. It's where you take on the other faction in a more intimate setting for a quick match and probably a longer queue time, because there's a good chance that you lost. And over in Mythic Plus World, the affixes are Fortified, Afflicted, and Raging. I want to say that this is a push week, but don't be overconfident. This combo can be a bit more dangerous than it first looks. Fortified and Raging synergizes, and it becomes a problem when tanks need to kite or when there are dangerous abilities that can otherwise be stunned. Meanwhile, Afflicted can't be handled by every class, but if a Paladin or a Druid happens to be your tank, this makes Afflicted much easier to manage. Next week, a special event will be taking place in WoW, the first and definitely not last of its kind. The Kalimdor Cup will begin, where we can visit dragon riding NPCs on Kalimdor and run courses in the old world, and they are super cool. When I tested them out a while back, it definitely gave me that feeling of, hey wow, I'm seeing the world totally different like this, so I'm excited. There's a reward behind doing well in these races. It's a transmog set that you can work towards during this short period. I'm very confident that it'll still be around for future racing cups, but like many, I want it early to get that sense of pride. If you're able to practice on the PTR, that's your decision. What I want to do is practice the fundamentals of racing, and there's an add-on that can kind of help with that. It's called Speed of Gonzalez, which to the best of its ability, it tracks your current speed, including flight speed. My plan is to practice a bit with this add-on to master how quickly I should be slamming Surge forward in order to maintain very high speed. I know that this is only one element of doing well in these races. There's practicing the real tracks, of course, including knowing where the speed boost or those little green vigor clouds are to measure how many times I'll get additional uses of Surge Forward. But I have a week to do a bit of light training before the 2-week event begins. I have full expectation that eventually we'll enjoy a WoW full of these dragon races that we can do anytime, but every few weeks or so, will be directed towards one of these regional cups to earn the currency that'll get us these appearances. Wishful thinking, but for now, that's where we'll wrap things up. I hope this turned out to be useful, and if so, hit that like button, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Let's have Bob close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
You start in town, getting up all the weeklies, then you head down, check and notice but there aren't any. Then you do a circle around the aisles, helping dragons for a while, do a hut, cook soup and some bounties, queuing for some dungeons, stopping invasions, helping the dragon nations. But in the end, you're just a gamer, you're just trying to get the big reputation, big reputation. Ooh, you and me were farming big reputations. That's what they were really trying to do. I want some trash bomb too.